Let's get to the finish of the NBA season first, because now all has been revealed. Clippers, Warriors, what a thriller to decide the final spots in the Western Conference. Steph would score 36. Warriors have a 4-point lead, but James Harden, Chiney, bringing them back.
This is everything you expected from James Harden, being able to deliver when it matters most, because when it comes to the postseason, there are question marks, but guess what? This was an exclamation point from him.
He had 39. Zubats had 22. We're tied at 111 late. That's Kawhi for the win, and it's no good. So, Marcus, we're going to overtime. Warriors down by 5, but Steph doing his best to keep them in it.
You know, obviously Steph Curry is Steph Curry, right? Big shots when they counted. But, hey, man, Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, they stepped up big in this one.
Indeed they did. And here's a goaltend on Jimmy Butler in a critical spot. Chiney, good call?
I think it's an okay call. I think it's okay.
They would review and confirm it. Clippers a 4-point lead as we work our way down. And now it is Butler inside. They would rescind the foul or overturn it. He had 30. Warriors down by 2. Next, Clippers possession. Watch Jimmy Butler. Marcus, he takes the knee to the quad there.
Definitely. I mean, that's going to be something to watch in that play-in game. Man, they need Jimmy buckets in this one.
He would say he was okay afterwards. You see him limping. He would stay in. Then just over 30 seconds left, Chiney. This is tough to watch. Draymond Green down 2.
Some people criticize, should he have the final shot? It was a layup. It was a gimme. That's something he can make in his sleep.
Absolutely. Instead, he misses it, and it turns into a nightmare. 6 seconds left. Warriors down by 3. This is their chance. Buddy Hield for the tie. It's up, and it's no good. So for the first time in NBA history, we have 4 players score 30 points on the last day of the regular season in the same game. Harden and Kawhi and Curry and Butler. In the end, the Clippers win. They avoid the play-in, and the Warriors do not. This is your Western Conference playoff picture. I'll give you a moment to soak it in. Warriors Grizzlies is the 7-8 game in the play-in. Clippers Nuggets will meet in the first round. Kings Mavericks is the other play-in. Lakers will get the Timberwolves. So you digest that for just a moment, and here we go. Brian Windhorst, as I mentioned, is up early with us from LA. Windy, give me 2 words that you would use to describe the day for Golden State yesterday.
Not ideal. Not ideal to see Draymond Green try to hunt a foul when you're down by 2 in overtime. Not ideal to have Jimmy Butler play 48 minutes in this game and then suffer a quad contusion. We'll see how he feels. He said after the game he'd play, but let's see how effective he can be. You've already got Steph Curry dealing with a thumb injury, and now you got to come back in 48 hours. Now, the Grizzlies have basically not won a big game for 2 months, but the Warriors have been terrible in the play-in over the course of their history, although Jimmy Butler was great in the play-in in Miami. So really stress this team out. They've done so much for the last 2 months to put themselves in position, and then they couldn't close with the Clippers delivering a tremendous performance on the road on the last day of the season.
Yeah, I mean, the storylines really for both these teams are remarkable, but dealing in the Golden State of it all, a week ago, Marcus, when you were here, we're having a conversation about how, they are a legitimate threat to go to the NBA Finals. Now they're essentially playing for their season this week. How about Golden State?
Golden State, to me, has one issue, and that issue is probably the biggest issue for the West. How valuable are bigs? Because bigs are going to dictate your team's success. Ivica Zubac had 22 and 17. For so many years, the Golden State Warriors, even of the past, have been able to get these great performances from Draymond to minimize their lack of size on the interior. Is this the year where maybe catches up to them? That's my only question. Because other than that, there are a few teams that really have 2 stars that can walk into an arena and scare you. Steph Curry is playing. I mean, he had dagger after dagger. It could have gone their way if the ball bounced that way. And also Jimmy Butler. People forget the impact of Jimmy Butler beyond just Steph Curry's points going from 22 to 27. They were last in free throws. That showed a lack of an aggression from this team. Now, since Jimmy arrived, they're top in free throws. So seeing those dynamics change are great. But more importantly, can they handle not having that big that can stop guys like Zubac?
They got to play tomorrow, by the way. They're in that first night of the wave, the play-in wave. So to Windy's point, they get no turnaround time really here after playing a crazy overtime game Sunday afternoon and suffering the Butler injury. And yet, having said all of that, why do you think all of this actually broke well for Steph Curry's team?
To be honest, right, the number 1 and number 2 seeds are OKC and the Rockets, 2 unproven teams. If I'm the Warriors, I'm excited. If I can get past the Grizzlies tomorrow night, I'm excited to play against these two teams that have no veteran. And to your point, centers are non-existent in the playoffs. So I think it's actually a good thing, right, that they don't have no bigs, because Zubac is a good big. Obviously, they got to get to that, right? But centers don't play in the playoff. I think Draymond Green opens up the floor for them. But if I'm the Warriors and I get past the Grizzlies, I'm feeling really good about my matchup with the Rockets. I'm sitting back and I'm chomping at the bit.
Do you know where Chiney is from?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
How angry you're about to make this decision.
Yeah.
But still, I do think that my Houston Rockets are ahead of schedule. But the only place I disagree is the Oklahoma City Thunder. While they have not won it all, while this team is still young, they still have proven to have one of the best defenses we've ever seen. They probably have the MVP. They have multiple All-Stars. I think that, most teams are worried to go up against the Thunder.
To be clear, Golden State is as far away from them right now as you can be, right? They're going to get into the bracket with they have to get out of the play-in, right, Windman? And then they will go up against Houston. If someone were to say that's a better matchup for them than it would have been if they had been the 6th seed, which is what would have happened most likely if they'd won yesterday and played the Lakers. So to Marcus's point, maybe this was the better result for them in the big picture. What would you say to that, Windman?
I appreciate him saying that because that's how I think probably some of their players are feeling. They may not say that. I will say, though, the reason that they're in the play-in is because Houston came in last week and beat them in Golden State. So the Rockets will have a lot of confidence in that game. But yes, the Thunder and the Rockets are unproven. The players in this tournament with the rings are in the back half of the draw. So obviously the Warriors are a team that has rings. They believe in it.
NBA regular season is behind us. We have the matchup set, and the Western Conference is going to be ridiculous. Marcus Morris, first impression, Clippers-Nuggets.
Man, I got to go with the Clippers. Let's keep an eye on David Adelman's first playoffs. They just now fired their head coach. X's and O's is going to be a big thing in this matchup, and I just don't see David Adelman out-coaching Tyronn Lue.
Clippers have been so good this second half of the season. Chiney, Grizzlies, Warriors in the play-in, first impression.
Look, this is going to be fun. It's going to be box office for 2 different ways. You know how they say styles make fights? Steph Curry from 3, we all know he's historical when it comes to that aspect. But, of course, on the other end, someone that loves to attack the basket, Ja Morant. The Grizz in a little bit of turmoil, but still, these 2 guards are going to really show up and show out.
Windman, the 3-6 is the Timberwolves and the Lakers. First impressions, Windy.
This is a rematch, not of the Lakers and Timberwolves, but of Luka going back to Minnesota, where he dropped the dagger on them in the Western Conference Finals last year when he was with the Mavericks. He loved playing on the road up in Minneapolis. I don't think he'll be stressed at all about going there. The thing here is obviously the Timberwolves like to play big. They can sometimes play with 2 centers. The Lakers like to play with no centers. Who will get to impose their will? I think you will see the Lakers try to play Rudy Gobert off the court as much as possible in this series.
You like this matchup for the Lakers, don't you?
I do, man, and I think it comes down to Rudy Gobert, as Wendy just said, man. Listen, guys are going smaller, right? How is Rudy going to take not being able to play in those crucial moments? Adding LeBron James at the 5 sometime, right? Spreading the floor out. Rudy Gobert is their defensive anchor, and he knows one way. And every time someone drives, he's coming to the basket. We'll open up corner threes, open up spacing, and then look, ISO time against Luka Doncic. I don't think he want to see that.
It's a tough matchup. I mean, candidly, no one fares particularly. Look at that. I mean,
look at it. Hey, sent them home too, man.
Can you translate the words that he's saying there for me? No, I forget I asked you that.
Not right now.
Forget we said that. Do you like the matchup for the Lakers?
I do like the matchup for the Lakers, but still, what I love about this matchup is the superstar power. Last year, the postseason was the rise of Anthony Edwards when he took down Kevin Durant. We saw that moment of Luka chirping.
Yeah.
You remember those images of Edwards chirping at KD?
Yes.
And then what did he do? He followed it up by chirping at Jokic being able to take down the Denver Nuggets. Will he do that again? Again, it's a tall task going up against Luka and LeBron, but I'm excited to see what this moment, it brings out the best in him. And speaking of the best in it, we've seen it this season, averaging a career high in points, 27 points per game. I don't know if people realize he led the NBA in made threes, 320 threes he made, more than Steph Curry. Like, this was a concerted effort for him to knock down shots, knowing that he's going to have more on his shoulders as an offensive threat. I love this matchup because it's going to bring out the best in him.
Windman, it is fascinating. As you were talking, it got me to thinking. You got Ant versus Luka. neither of them, I mean, their circumstances are so thoroughly different from what they were a year ago.
True.
Ant was part of a big two in Minnesota. They traded the other one away. Luka was part of a, essentially, well, I guess he was a big two with Kyrie in Dallas. They traded him away. So these two stars go head to head, and things couldn't be more different than they were a year ago.
Yeah, and Minnesota has actually been playing really well. They won 9 of 11 games down the stretch to get out of the play-in. There was a little bit of drama this weekend. Ant Edwards got a technical foul Friday night, would have been suspended yesterday. The NBA rescinded it. He was needed in that game. He scored 43 points to get them into this spot. The Timberwolves last year were a great defensive team, #1 in the league, and a sort of middle-of-the-pack offensive team. Down the stretch of this season, they've been a better offensive team than defensive team. So this is while it is comparable to what we saw last year, Ant is shooting way more threes. Their offensive ceiling is higher after trading for Julius Randle, and their defensive ceiling hasn't been as good. So, and by the way, these teams split the season series, but none of the games were really played with the Lakers playing the way they are now. So I'm going to throw that out. So I expect a competitive series. I agree. I think the Lakers have the advantage, especially because they get home court advantage. They have been awesome all year at home. They worked so hard to get that 3 seed, and they've gotten a good spot going into the West playoffs.
We've managed to talk about this series for 3 minutes and 31 seconds, and there's 2 words I haven't said yet, and they are LeBron James. His name has not yet come up. What's LeBron's role in this? We talk all we want about Luka and Ant, obviously. How about LeBron in this series?
It's to be the OG. It's to be the vet, right? Have the guy with the highest IQ in the NBA to put guys in the right spots, right? I think it's going to be critical to see how they keep Ant in a box in the different matchups they throw at him, right? How do they cover Luka Doncic's defensive flaws? But LeBron James, the smartest guy on the court, I think he allows Luka to be Luka, do his thing, and get easy backs to get out in transition and be LeBron.
But if LeBron is the smartest guy, which we all agree, where do we put J.J. Redick in for the masterful job he has done so far this year? Because he said, I still have some cards up my sleeve.
Yeah.
We know that he was not showing everyone what this team could do, even at the small ball lineup. What I expect to see more of is LeBron James and Luka Doncic in that pick and roll. Ooh. LeBron James in that short roll as a decision maker, because that is a nightmare for defenders. Okay, now you've given LeBron James a short court. He can pop it out to shooters, or he can attack with advantage himself. Like, I do think that the Lakers actually have more up their sleeve.
All right, they will begin next weekend. We'll have plenty of time to look ahead to a lot of these matchups.